Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we are in part 2 of our hood repair on this 9,000 mile vintage drag car that we call the Forsyth Duster. Let's look at what we did in our last episode. We definitely have made some great progress. Today, we're going to try to get the rest of this finished up. Well, we're going to move forward on the rest of this. I anticipate this is going to take a while and we may not have enough time to get it done today. So we need to make a part that goes in there like so. And then we need to make a part that goes down here. I thought about making all of this in one. I'm not convinced that's the way to go. But we're going to do the right thing and try to make a template and see what we can do. So let's get this sketched out and we'll be right back. I'm Mike and you're watching My Car Shop. So here we go. Got a nice little template made here. I'm a little short on the bottom edge over here, but overall it's pretty good. It'll fit in there like so-ish. So we need to take our old piece of rusty metal now, get it hammered flat, and mark where our slots are for the hood hinge to go, because we have this mechanism here that needs to go inside of there. And I want to be sure that, yeah, I think we're okay. So we'll get that figured out here in just a minute, but it kind of goes on the inside, something like that. So my template is my secondary thing. My primary is rusty metal. So I'm going to hammer that flat, then we'll know where these slots go, and we'll compare that to our paper template and make some decisions on exactly how we're going to lay this out on this piece of 18 gauge steel. I think that looks like a pretty good place to lay it out right there. I think that'll be all right. So there we go, something like that. And now we'll take this and kind of piece it together. Ooh, we're a little bit, okay, yeah, we were okay there, and we're okay there. The issue here where we didn't have a tissue, okay, we're good there. I think we need to be more up in that ballpark, but we're going to leave ourselves a bunch extra because we got to put these slots in here. So I don't know, we'll figure that out in a minute. But I think overall, and we've got extra over here, and this was cut right to fit, so we're good there. Okay, and then this gives me the extra where I needed that extra down in here, so that's good. There we go. We got a rough template. Not really a template, but we got a rough part knocked out that's close to this. We got to do some tweaking and massaging, but overall, that's pretty good. Got a little extra material down here like we need. We kind of know where our fold needs to be in here, so we're doing pretty well overall. Like that. So now it's time to start the massaging and the tweaking. That's pretty good in there. I can live with that. This edge needs to be knocked back. Yeah, knocked back a little bit here. If I can do that with these or not. 18 is a little stiff for tin snips, but we're doing it. These are good snips. No special brand. They're just from Ace Hardware. Back when we used to have one. Well, there we go with that. That's a much better fit now. I like that. Okay, so we're good here. We're good all the way up to here. Our gap there is just a teeny bit wide, but we can split the difference there, and that'll be all right. So now we need to get this edge here correct, because I had this edge correct in this template. Pretty good. All right, so I don't like the fact that that's right on the edge of that, but I think we'll be okay. Before we go any further, let me go do a tracing on the bolt holes on that side so we know exactly what that pattern looks like. There we go. We got a nice tracing on those now. We got some on this side too, but I like this side better. And there we go. I just laid my little template over the marks that I already had and just with a little paint. So we'll let that dry, and then we can probably just stick it in the mill. And once we get this bent properly, we can machine that in the mill and make some nice slots that'll look fairly representative of factory. I'm going to go put this over in the furnace to dry, and I got to charge my camera. All right, so here's what we got. Been doing a lot of tweaking and fitting. It's getting close. I feel like the edge on this needs to tip just a little teeny bit more, but we are really close. I'm using rare earth magnets, thanks Mark, to hold this because my regular magnets just aren't strong enough. I got a little bit of an issue here, but I have a way I'm going to handle that, so that'll be okay. I like how that edge looks. This may be in just a little far, but as I mentioned, I plan to run a piece of 1/8 inch by 1 inch metal on both sides of this hood just to give it some strength. So being in a little bit is not going to hurt our feelings any. So the next thing that I want to do now before I go much further with this is I need to get these 2 slots cut in here, and then we need to get this inner structure piece made that bolts to. I think we'll make a new piece like this, and we'll just we'll try to fix this part here, get that broken bolt out of there, I hope, and if not, we can make a new one. But that's our next step, I think. So here's where we're at after a lot of sweat and tears. I got that drilled out and retapped, so that's good. We'll get that cleaned up and painted. I got my slots cut in here. Had a little problem, but no problem. We got it done. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. So the next thing to do now is we need to get this, down in here like this with a capture device that will allow it to move this way and twist and stuff like that. So that will attach to the top, and this kind of hangs in it. So we got to make that next. Alrighty then, so I just spent a ton of time while this camera was recharging working on getting this part done, which goes in here like this. Didn't really want that to stick to my magnet. Dang it! Those rare earth magnets are great, but man, they stick to every damn thing. Anyway, goes in there like this, okay? And then what goes in that is, if I can find it, well, hang on, there. And what goes inside of that is this assembly here. So that needs to be tightened down a little bit, but that will capture that so that stays inside of there. So the next trick, I got to get it centered up properly. Then we're just going to weld it to the top, and then we'll peen this over tight so that it holds it tight so that this doesn't fall out. And we should be good to go. So it's different than the factory one was engineered, but I think this is going to work pretty good. It goes down low enough, slides back and forth far enough each way, and rocks this way really good. So that should do the job right there. Let's get that finished up, welded up, painted up, not in that order. And just like that, it's all done. We don't even have to finish it up. So it floats around in there nice now. So I should be good, and it won't fall out. So that's what we're going for there. Now we need to take this over here and get it fitted in the spot that it goes. So I'll get that done. I think we're ready to tack it in. Alrighty, I got it tacked in. Well, it's more than tacked in. I ran a really good heavy bead here because of this is a structural thing, and I tried to get as much strength and heat. So I did suck it in just a little bit, but we'll get that taken care of, no big deal. I haven't gone along and welded along the edge yet. We'll do that later. But I got it pretty good around here. I really had to take my welder way back in heat. I've been meaning to measure this metal and see what it is. I'll grab my caliper here in a minute and measure it, because I'm thinking this is 22 gauge. It's not rusted, really. It's just thin. And I think they just use really thin metal as the structure underneath this hood, is my guess. Thinner than I realized. Most of the stuff on these Mopars is 20 gauge. I'm thinking this is 22. So I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So anyway, I'm going to grind this up a little bit, and we'll have a few little pinholes here and there to fill. But overall, not too bad. There we go. I'll still need to weld down here a little bit. I need to weld across that, but I'm going to leave that until I make sure that this hood is straight. I went back and I touched up some spots here. I still got to hit that one. Problem I'm having, this metal is so thin that to get it perfectly straight across there, it's really fighting me, and then it ends up paper thin in it. So I'm leaving a little bit extra. I didn't get as good over here as I did over here, obviously making it look flush like a toilet, but I'd rather have the strength and have a little swipe of mud in there to make it look perfect, or even just leave it like that, than have problems later with it not being strong enough and cracking because I just ground the welds too thin. So I'm going to get my measuring thing here real quick and measure this metal. I got to go grab my sheet metal chart, and we'll see what this is. Okay, lots accomplished. Unfortunately, my camera died, my microphones died, and I lost about 10 minutes of footage. So we're doing it over again. First of all, I checked the gauge on this inner stamping part. It is between 25 thousandths and 20 thousandths, which is less than a spark plug gap on a lot of cars. Basically, it is 22 to 24 gauge steel. So when Mopar stamped this, they did it out of really thin steel, and I measured it in places where it's not rusted, so I know that's accurate. It's no wonder I'm struggling to weld it up and get it to hold. So I got a couple spots in here that probably need a little touching up, but overall, I'm trying to not grind the welds at all, or not the metal, I should say. I'm grinding the welds, but I'm not grinding the metal, which means you're going to see a little bit of the weld there. But one little quick coat of putty and that'll all be gone, so I'm not worried about it. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to get 1/8 inch, probably about 4 foot long. I want to come back behind the hinge and then up into here where the hood starts to get thin. I think a 1-inch piece, probably 3 feet long, so 2 of those, 1 for each side, is going to add a tremendous amount of strength to this. I'm pretty sure that there's plenty of room in here for these to flex around a little bit, so adding 1/8 of an inch shouldn't be a problem. I don't think it's going to be a problem in any way, shape, or form in there. Probably the hood, the rubber things are going to hit a little bit harder, but I'm not worried about that so much. So we'll probably need to replace those anyway because they're hard as a stick. But yeah, so this is really good progress. So I'm stopping here for today. I've got the one little piece to make back here. I need to get this welded up in here. There's a little cleanup work. I haven't done that yet, but I want to check this hood straightness before I get that edge done. So right now, where we left it yesterday, none of this is attached yet. So we have plenty of room. Our inner little piece is working really well. Hopefully that doesn't go flying anywhere. I think we're okay on that. So overall, it's a winner chicken dinner as far as I'm concerned. So the next thing on this again will be this. The shop is kind of a mess, but I actually have been cleaning things up between things. I haven't taken time to do a shop organization episode lately, but I actually, as you can see, I cleaned the duster off, as I mentioned the other day. I got the welding bench fairly cleaned off. The back corner bench is done. There's just some, because of the rearrangement to get at the duster to work on it, I've got some stuff I've got to figure out at some point here. So, you know, it's a working shop. What do you want? But I'm really excited. This is coming along good. So we'll be back on this one again in a few days. We'll get this part finished up. Maybe I'll have those pieces of 1/8 inch by 1 by then and get that figured out how I'm attaching it. I'm not sure yet how I want to attach it. We may weld it. We may screw it. We may, I don't know. We're going to do something. We'll definitely do something. But I really want to get that on there. 2 of them are going to be bolted in here with the hinge, so that's going to be all right. And so maybe just a couple of plug welds. I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. So, all right, that'll do. That's metal. It hurts. I didn't cut myself. It's okay. That's going to do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing and all that good stuff. Stick around. We'll be back with another one on this soon, and we'll try to get this area finished up. Oh, I know what else I was going to say. I'm going to get online and see if I can find a rattle can of Duplicolor that's this color. I wouldn't mind rattling up this area here into a greenish color, close at least. We're not painting the underside of this hood. We're going to get a rust converter of some kind. CRC has one. Several companies have some pretty good rust converters, different than what I used on the car. This one is a chemical that goes on, eats the rust off kind of thing. Evapo rust is one. We're going to try some of that on this and see where we end up. And then maybe we'll either do a patina treatment or a clear coat or just wipe it down with oil. I don't know, but there's not much else structurally. There's a little hole there, a couple little holes over there we got to fix, but there's not much else to do. So anyway, like, share, subscribe if you would. I'd like to continue to see the channel grow. I think you would too. There's so much more coming. We've got about 6 inches of snow out there today, and you know, there's no 39 Dodge pickup cab coming in here anytime soon. I can't put the 47 out. I can't get the Oakland in. So this and stitches are what we're focusing on right now, which I know you guys like anyway. So, all right, that'll do it. We'll catch you on the next one. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. If you're new here, you may not be aware of this. All the old timers know this. Something you shouldn't forget. Don't forget, it is important.